it's V again from IELTS Speaking. Welcome to the series 31 Extra Topics in Use, Category 1 Describing People. This is the third episode of the category. Well, in the first two episodes, we talked about how to describe a person in general, how to talk about a person who made you laugh, and a musician. Today, we're going to handle all of the rest 4 topics in this category. Are you ready? Let's start. Well, you can choose to talk about anyone from an ordinary person with so much personality, that means a person with very interesting character, to a celebrity or a successful entrepreneur. How about President Obama? Yeah, why not? If you were lucky enough to meet him in person. Okay, remember that you have to talk about someone that you actually met. That means you met in person or in the flesh, not someone that you've heard about or read about. Personally, my choice would be talking about a person who's skilled at playing music. Why? It's because I have prepared the ideas to talk about a musician and I want to utilize actually the ideas here. So to answer the questions, what and why I want to know more about that person, the first thing I would say is I am really curious. I wonder how he can juggle his hectic schedule and life. To juggle means to find enough time to do more than one thing at a time as well as possible. Hectic means busy, bustling, full of activities. So if you have a hectic schedule, you are very busy. In addition, you can say, well, having seen him in person has made me admire him even more. Notice the use of the present perfect tense here. It emphasizes the fact that you did see him and now you admire him even more. Plus, you may be curious about the personal life of that musician. You can say, well, getting to know my idol, his daily routines, his hobbies, and all of that stuff just makes me feel closer to him. Besides, I don't want to miss any of his coming gigs or CDs. Another option that you may want to take into consideration is to talk about someone who's skilled at playing music, but he doesn't have to be famous. He can be just as ordinary as you and me. In this case, you can say, well, he left a profound impression on me with his passion, confidence in playing music. Okay, when I first saw him playing so enthusiastically and skillfully on the stage, I was completely struck. Or, I am really intrigued to know what it takes to be such an accomplished musician. To be intrigued means to be very attracted, to be interested. To be accomplished means to be skillful, to be very good at something. Other reasons may be you share the interest, for example, in playing drums with that person. So you want to ask him to teach you, to train you, for example. You want to learn from his experience or something like this. Or maybe you want to emulate his competence. The fourth topic is to talk about a famous person. Obviously, you can go back to the topic of describing a musician and you talk about a famous one, a famous musician. Once again, I will use the ideas that I had for describing Trọng Nhân in this topic. In addition, I will try to paraphrase famous because famous is just too common a word, and I will use synonyms like renowned, reputable, acclaimed, of good repute, and well liked. If someone is good repute, he or she is famous in a good way. Topic number 5, describe a person you admire. Other phrases that mean the same, admire, are hold somebody in high regard, look up to somebody, idolize somebody. You can also say somebody has won your heart or somebody's left profound impression on you. To explain what someone is famous for or why you admire someone, first you should give your comments on the skills of that person. And because we are talking about using the ideas for describing a musician, well, we will talk about the musical talent of that person. For example, do you still remember the phrases that I used in the previous episode to describe people who are very good at doing something? Okay, you can say, well, he plays music like a pro. He makes playing drums just a piece of cake. Okay, he can play drums with his eyes closed. Something like that. Or achievements. Okay, like, oh, he's the reigning champion. Vietnam's Got Talent. That's remarkable. Or something like, he's been awarded the title of, for example, the best musician of the year. Personality is also a good point to comment on. You can say, despite his fame, he's always modest and he does a lot of charity. Okay, well, what I love most about him, the reason why he's my idol is, okay, he's very modest and he gets on well with the people around him, or he lives a life that is free from scandals, which is really rare in the world of celebrities or something like that. And finally, if you want, you can talk about appearance a little bit. Like, oh, he's really elegant. And honestly, I have to admit that his look has partially helped him to win the heart of many fans, myself included. For the last topic, to describe someone that has influence on you, you will have to talk about influences. And of course, you will have to use, synonyms. Okay, but first let me remind you that influence can be a verb and a noun, and you pronounce it exactly the same. Influence as a verb and a noun. But effects and affects are different, as you know, and effect is followed by the preposition on, but affect, the verb, is followed by no preposition at all. Impact is a verb, and the second syllable is stressed. But when it's a noun, you would say impact with the stress on the first syllable, and you can use the verb impact and the noun impact with the preposition on. Now let's get back to the topic of the question of how he or she has influenced you. Okay, you can say he's my idol, role model that I want to emulate again, or you can say he arouses my interest in music. To arouse your interest means to make you start interested in something. To make you start being interested in something. To urge or to inspire me to pursue my childhood dream of being an instrumentalist. To pursue a dream means to go after a dream to try to make it come true. And finally, you can use the phrase to set a good example of something to somebody. Well, that's the end of the very first category describing people. Okay, once again, I want to recap. We've been through important topics like describing a person that made you laugh, describing a musician, and four other topics. And I want to remind you that you don't have to prepare for all of the six topics actually. Just prepare for the first two and then adapt the ideas for the rest four. Okay, I hope you find the video clips useful and see you in the next episodes with other categories. Good luck and goodbye.